Hi, my name is Brian Irwin, and this is my intern presentation for leadership. So growing up as a kid, my parents would always tell me, Brianna, you're going to be a leader. You're not going to be a follower. As a kid, I didn't really understand what they were saying. I was kind of like, yeah, whatever. But as I got older and I grew up a little bit, I understood it more, and I understand that I love being a leader. And it is a privilege to be a leader, to be able to help empower people and to help them through things. So through this presentation, I'm going to first start discussing 3 of Kouzes and Posner's leadership practices that have helped me understand myself as a leader on a personal level. The first one I want to discuss is model the way. So why this was personally very impactful to me is because my first job ever was at Bath & Body Works. And I found it quite difficult because of the management. I was very excited, bright-eyed 16-year-old going to my first ever job, very excited to learn and to hopefully have some good experience. Unfortunately, the managers had other plans. They were not very supportive. They would say, oh, do this, but then do another thing. And it was that age-old saying of, do what I say, not what I do. And Kouzes and Posner made me realize that is not how leadership is supposed to work. Modeling the way is so important, and this helps build your credibility, and it helps people feel more comfortable with you as well. And this also avoids resentment, which I definitely had a lot of resentment towards my managers at Bath & Body Works. It was just really difficult, and I had a hard time being underneath them because all the time they were just so condescending, quite rude, and it was not a good work environment because they were not modeling the way. So on a personal level, I really struggled with that. The second one that I want to discuss is sharing a vision. Now, on a personal level, this was very important to me throughout the course and working through it. What it made me think back to, of course, Bath & Body Works again. A lot of the employees there, as well as myself, I was working there part-time through high school and a little bit into my time at NAIT. There was no shared vision. There was no cohesiveness. The managers quite frequently talked down to the employees below them, and there was no shared vision. The managers did not want the employees to move up. They wanted them to stay stagnant where they were in the lower jobs, so to speak. There was no shared vision. A lot of us were open to moving up, maybe becoming management, or even being able to move higher up in the company, something like that. But the managers did not have this shared vision. But even on like a store level, maybe the employee, for example, I loved being a cashier. I loved doing that. I was very good at it, and it was something that I enjoyed doing. The managers, on the other hand, wanted me to do stock, or what we called replan. Now, for number 3, empowering others to take initiative and experiment. So, once again, going back to Bath & Body Works, I was micromanaged very heavily in this job. So let's say that I was doing stock when I was walking around doing it, or grabbing boxes from the back. Managers quite often be like, oh, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? I would have done this way. Very micromanaged. And it was quite frustrating as an employee because I did not feel valued. And this course has made me really reflect on that. And even just all the 5 aspects of good leadership has made me realize that I did not have good leaders then. And it kind of tainted leadership for me because I kind of thought that that's how it had to be. And I was like, oh, I don't want to turn into a leader like that because I don't want to be resented, and I don't want people to not feel happy working underneath me. But in any case, the way that I was micromanaged made me feel bad about myself and about my job. It made me feel like the work I was doing was not good enough for them. Fast forward to a different personal experience. Now I work for NAITSA. Complete opposite. My supervisor is very wonderful with being very hands-off, just providing everything that I need to succeed, but doing it from a distance and doing it from a very supportive lens. Just helping me understand that she's there to support me, she's not there to micromanage me, and I have a lot more creative freedom. So this has made me really reflect on this kind of leadership. I'm not a supervisor necessarily, but leadership in this aspect, that I understand that I have the freedom to do what I'd like and to be a leader in those senses. Another thing is through the Idea Marketing Club. So I've been the president for roughly 2 years now, and it's been quite a whirlwind, but it's been very rewarding. And this has made me realize myself in a different light as a leader. Now to discuss the why, the how, and the what. This course has really opened up my eyes to be a definitive leader. to lead with purpose, and to stride with passion. What's important to me is the marketing club, and I am the president of the marketing club, so this is a big leadership role that I took on this year. I felt that it was very important to lead in a way that I did not want to feel like anybody felt like I was stepping on their toes. So at the beginning, it was a bit more of like, oh, like, I'll kind of help lead you, but I didn't want to be very definitive. So for example, when our social media team would be like, oh, do you like this? I maybe not was the biggest fan of it, but I said, oh, it's okay. Like, do you like it? Just post it, kind of thing. But this course has taught me that that's not the best way to be a leader. The best way to be a leader is to say, to be clear, to be cut, but to also be kind. It's very important to be kind and to provide passion in your work as well. Now, how did I do this? Well, I do this by trying to curb some of my imposter syndrome. Despite being the president of the marketing club for just over 2 years now, I still feel, oh, do I deserve to be in this position? But I absolutely do, and I need to keep reminding myself that I deserve to be in the position, and there's a reason that I'm in the position I am. So how I do this is just by reminding myself constantly that I am a good leader, and I do this by providing actionable items. So I send people in the club constant reminders, constant emails, not to an annoying amount, but to an amount that I would like if I had a leader, right? So just providing them with the dates and the meeting times, and even providing polls as well to make sure everything works for everyone, no one's feeling left out. But I also do this by being definitive, as I was speaking earlier. It's very important to just give a straight answer. Nobody wants, oh, maybe. No, I give a straight answer, but I also say it's up for discussion. I say that despite me being the leader, despite me being the president, everything is still up for discussion. You can disagree with me, and we can have a discussion about it and see how we move forward. I can discuss with the other VPs of the club and maybe see how we can move forward, but there's always something to be said about keeping an open door policy, so to speak. Now what? What did I learn about myself through this entire process? It's been very challenging, I think, to dig deep and to understand who I am internally as a person, but also as a leader. What I've noticed is that I value collaboration a lot more than just strict, straight power. To be collaborative is to be powerful, in my opinion, because I have one brain, I'm just one person, but by talking to other people, hearing other people's stories, that unlocks potential for whole new ideas, for things that I maybe did not think about. And I think that's really important in any leadership style, to be able to collaborate, to be able to bring forward ideas, and to have others disagree, and to have these really strong, intense, but very impactful conversations. Now to discuss my personal leadership plan. So as I graduate this month, it's very important for me to recognize and realize that I absolutely will be a leader out in the real world, in my real job. I hope to be a leader right away, but I can be a leader in other aspects of my life. To ensure that I keep being a leader, there are a couple concrete steps that I have in place that I've already started, I've already implemented, and I'm going to keep doing them, keep honing in on them, and keep seeing how I can each month pivot. So every month, I want to have a journal just discussing, did I lead with intention this month? Was I a good leader this month? Was I a leader that I would like to have? Just by doing this, sitting down every month, last Sunday of the month, for 10 to 30 minutes, that's the time I'm allocating for myself, and I have the journal already that I'm going to use. By doing that, I can ensure that I'm putting the proper steps forward, to know that I'm doing my due diligence as a leader, to understand where I'm coming from, and to understand where I can best lead my team. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation, and I really hope that I answered any questions you may have.